Alright, so Battlefield 6 is on the horizon, and looking at the footage, it seems that we are going back to the old formula of Battlefield 3 and 4, which everyone has been raving about ever since it was released, and missing ever since EA moved away from the Battlefield 3 and 4 formula. So we don't have to worry about really enclosed, boring maps like Battlefield Hardline. We don't have to worry about really expansive, empty maps like Battlefield 1 and 5. And we don't need to worry too much about the stupid, advanced, futuristic warfare of Battlefield 2042. It is going to be boots on the ground, modern urban warfare. And that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. The thing that doesn't look like it's going to be a lot of fun is the system requirements. 16 gigs of RAM, an SSD, Windows 11, okay, those are expected. A reasonable mid-range i5 or Ryzen 5 CPU, that's reasonable. What isn't is the GPU requirements. Now, they're saying that the recommended GPU is a 3060 Ti, but then their numbers are generated with AI upscaling, DLSS or FSR. That means that a 3060 Ti isn't actually powerful enough to run the game. More realistically, I would be expecting a 3070 or a 4060 Ti to be in the ballpark of what you actually need to run this game at native res. But it's going to be a late 2025 release going into 2026. It was going to be a demanding game visually anyway. Now, what I do not like at all is at the bottom of their system specifications, it mentions TPM 2.0, BitLocker has to be turned on, Secure Boot has to be turned on, virtualization has to be enabled in your CPU, as well as a few other security features. All of that culminates to one word: kernel. The kernel level anti-cheat rides again, rears its ugly head. It's the bane of modern gaming. Kernel level anti-cheat opens up the system kernel to attacks. The fact that the anti-cheat has access, free reign, inside the system kernel is a terrible idea, and I don't know why we're still using it. There were talks from Microsoft a year or two ago about blocking all access to the kernel, even for anti-cheats, and I don't know where that went, because it didn't happen. But it looks like you are going to need a fairly modern system that supports this modern implementation of anti-cheat. It looks like you're not going to be able to play it on Linux, and that's going to piss off quite a few Linux gamers. And it also looks like it's going to be a fairly CPU-heavy anti-cheat system. So that's why they're wanting a mid-range CPU, because a few of the cores are going to be busy with anti-cheat.